Morning guys and girls. Hope you're going well with your projects out there and your restorations and what sort of car you might be working on. Hope you're having fun. Just wanted to do a bit of a touch on tin snips and the difficulties that you see with them. I've been to various tool shops, looked at all different brands, bought them, tested them, thrown them in the garbage. So I just want to give you an idea of the ones that I use. I've been using them for a number of years now. Good quality, longevity, and continue to work and stay sharp. So the main ones I use are, we've got the Milwaukee. Quite a good brand. They make very good cordless power tools and power tools. American based company. There's the straight ones. They come in a right hand cut and a left hand cut, and you can see by the tips that they face left and right. The green is the right hand cut, the red colour's the left hand cut. And it all depends on which way you want to cut whatever material that you're cutting, whatever shape that you're cutting. The waste material should always come off that side of the snips, and in the left hand off that side of the snips. So the left hand side of the snips, right hand side of the snips. So they're a good quality snip, and they're around about the $50 mark from most tool shops. They also make the angled ones in both left and right as well. Beauty of these is when you're trying to get into a corner, and if you've got a cabin and you're just trying to get into the corner to do a bit of snipping around a corner, you can't get the long handle ones in. So I use these. These are good because you can get in around and make a difference and get to where you want to go. So they're a really good one to have in your arsenal as well. The other ones that I came across not long ago are these ones, which are made by New Sharp, and left and right again, but they have a smaller head on them, so you can see the difference in the size of the heads. These are really great for tight radiuses and tight sections where you can't get in. You can just open these up ever so slightly and nibble around the steel to generate the line of cut that you're after. They're really good. They're New Sharp, N-U-S-H-A-R-P, and about $50 a pair as well. So yeah, that's the ones that I use. Probably know yourself, you've gone through a few pairs yourself and thinking, oh, they're just not working. They kill my hands when I use them, and you just throw them in the garbage. Or give them to someone else. Give them to your best mate. Anyway, just wanted to show you a bit of technique of actually cutting the metal with the snips. Just got a basic circle there. This is 20 gauge 0.95 steel, which is pretty much what they use in most outer body skins on 70s and 60s model cars. So first of all, the most important thing is to get rid of the excess. If you've got excess material like this, it makes it hard to work on your hands and on the snips as well, because it's trying to eliminate the waste and curl it up out of the way, and while it's doing that, it makes it more difficult for you to get past. So I trim these off to within about 3 to 4 mil of the actual line, so that it makes life easier when you start to get into concentrating on an accurate cut on the line. So we'll just do that first of all. I use the bench as an advantage. You put the lever of the snips on the end of the bench. So these cuts can just be straight across. Cut it like a 50-cent piece if you're doing a circle. Doesn't matter how rough they are, just got to get that material out of the way. Let's Still a bit much on that corner there, so I'll take a bit more. Put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, so we've trimmed down to about 3 or 4 mil closer to the line. And that makes a really big difference as to how the steel peels off from the outside edge. Another little trick I like to do is you turn the snips upside down, so use them that way instead of this way. It's so much more awkward if you've got to get your hand up, your elbow up in the air like this and get around it. This makes a big difference to actually also being able to see where you're going on the line. I don't know if you can see that or not. With the snips upside down, there's not as much blade covering the line. So I go this way. You can see it's taking very little effort, and because I'm doing a radius also, I'm just doing a very slight squeeze on each one. You don't want to be travelling too far with the blade each cut. You need to just little by little nibble around the edge of it. You can see the material's peeling away quite nicely. Just makes life so much easier. Makes it more accurate cut. And it makes it easier on your hand. Notice I don't have to have the cutters on the bench trying to get the leverage that I need. You're getting old like me, you haven't got the power in your hands you used to have. So little bit, little bit, little bit. So there you've got a reasonably accurate circle. All you need to do is a little bit of sanding on the linear or with the flapper disc around the edges to get it to be exact to where the line is. Makes a big difference. Anyway, okay, the little fellas, they're really good for doing smaller pieces like this one here. I've just done a dog bone type situation there as a demonstration. Again, first of all, cut off the bulk. Same with the straight, cut the bulk out of the way. Turn the snips upside down, you can see where I'm cutting better. And little nibbles to get this as a tighter radius, about the size of a 10-cent piece. We're just doing little nibbles down the straight. We've got a bit of a bow here from the dog bone section. Okay, I'm going to have to turn them up the other way because of the inside radius. The snips don't want to go upside down on the inside radius. Little nibbles. The smaller bite you take, the easier it is on your hands and your arms. So you've got your rough little shape that might be going into a windowsill or something like that. And you again just need to neaten it up with your flapper disc or on the linear, and the piece is quite accurate and ready to go in. Just makes life so much easier. So get rid of the excess material down to about 4 mil, and make sure you've got good snips, and yeah, you're on your way. Another thing I wanted to show you, because you know, when you're marking out for these shapes, sometimes you might get a big long sweeping shape, like for a guard, the side of a guard that runs down a running board or something like that. And you've probably seen this before, but a larger piece of metal here. I just wanted to show you this trick for the mark out guide. You probably have your template, but your paper's so hard to follow and keep it in track. You put little magnets on, it helps. But there's a little tip. This stuff is easily obtainable. An old broken down fridge. You go down there and you cut the rubber seal that closes the door, and then you slice it open, and this is what's inside. That's the fridge door magnet. And it's really flexible stuff. And you can lay it on your panel, and you can shape it whichever way you want. And you get really nice radiuses out of it because it's got a little bit of body to it. You can do all sorts of weird shapes, get it to curl round, and mark it with your pen. You just follow it along. I'm using a big marker here because I just want to show it for the demonstration so you can see. You can get beautiful flowing lines out of the magnet positioned on the metal. Just makes life so much easier. The beautiful radiuses, whatever shape that you've templated off the guard, or might be a back guard section or something you're doing fancy on the side of the car. Makes life really easy. Such a good tip. And it costs nothing. And if you want to do really tight radiuses, you can actually slice the magnet in half. You can actually trim it. So you've got a smaller body on the edge, it's not as wide, and then you can bend it around a smaller radius. It's really good stuff. Anyway, that's my take on tin snips. I hope it's helpful. I'm just trying to think of anything else that I might have missed. I think that's pretty much it. Anyway, thanks for watching and happy restoration.